Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Indie Filmmaking Truth and Reality. I'm your host, Jeff Deverett. Great to have you back. Today we have a special guest. We're going to be starting sort of our series within the series of talking to filmmakers who have actually finished making an independent film. And we're going to listen to their journey and their adventure in actually financing, producing, and hopefully distributing their films. There's going to be quite a few of them in the next few weeks and months. And this is the first of many. So welcome aboard and join the adventure. If you want to be a successful indie filmmaker, you need to know a lot about not just the production of movies, but the business. We are going to tell you the truth and reality of what really happens in the indie film business. All right, hello everybody. I am pleased to have Cathy Yonek, who just finished making her independent film, Chocolate for Christmas. And it was, I'm sure, an adventure to do it. Now, I met Cathy probably, a year and a half ago on Zoom because she was a client and she was looking to get some advice on how to get her film financed and produced. I can't even remember the conversation. You'll hopefully recall it for everybody. And hopefully I gave you some good advice. I can't remember. And then, a year later or whatever, she emailed me and said, "You're not going to believe it, but I got my film made and it's great. And now we should talk about distribution." But really happy to have you on the show, and more happy that you were able to complete the journey of getting an independent film made. So congratulations on that. Thank you so much. So do you want to tell everybody first of all, tell them about the original conversation, because I can't remember.
Sure, yes. So the way that I met Jeff was I had decided that I was going to make a feature film. And I'm a first-time feature filmmaker. I've made shorts, but not features. So when I decided to make a feature, it wasn't like, yay, I'm making a feature. It was like, I'm making a feature. And I say it that way because when you're going to start a goal like that, it's a pretty big mountain to tackle. And it's not that you're necessarily like excited to do it, but you know that you're at the place in your career where you have to do it. So I was talking to various producers about content, and the overriding answer that they came back with was make a Christmas movie because Christmas movies sell. So I didn't have this burning desire to make a Christmas movie about a woman who saves a chocolate shop, which is what my movie ended up being about. But I had a location to film it at, and I thought it would make sense. So I decided I was going to do it. I said it out loud, and then it was going to happen. So I reached out to Jeff because I'd heard great things about him, and I was watching a lot of his YouTube podcasts and interviews, and he was able to give me some consultation about what I should look for in a distribution contract, what is a red flag, and that's how we met. And I said to him, I'm going to film this movie in 7 days. And he said, I don't know about that, but if you are able to do it, come back and let me know. And so that's how it started. Okay,
so now you wrote, produced, directed, and did lots of other things on the production.
Yes.
So let's talk about, and on the podcast here, we have your two main lead actors,
yes,
Angela and Joel. Thanks for coming on. We'll get to you in a few minutes. But tell me, let's start with the writing. Why, you said you had a location. So you wrote a movie around a location, or what? How did that come to be?
I did, yes. So I have sisters that live in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is very wintry and Christmassy, and their houses are always decorated so beautifully. And through the years, I've been saying, like, we should film something here, and would try to do a short, but it wouldn't work out. And so the year I decided to do a Christmas movie, I just said, guys, I'm using your house. And so that in itself is a whole process that I could do a whole seminar on, because it's really important to prep people that have not lent you their homes, for example. So what I ended up doing was I made a big spreadsheet for them, and we had a meeting, and I said, this is what's going to happen. They're going to be people outside of your house with equipment. It's winter. You're going to have mud on your shoes, snow. Everybody's going to be using your bathroom. Like, this is what the day is going to look like. We're going to need an area for people to sit at. We're going to need a dressing room. So I was very organized from the beginning because I wanted to be very respectful of their property. And so that ended up being a great idea if you're going to make a movie and use your family's home.
I know, but why that movie? Like, why that story?
Well, I also had a friend who had a chocolate shop who said I could use the chocolate shop. And I really didn't have any budget. You know, people will say, what's your budget? And I will say, I don't have a budget. And I didn't really have one because I didn't have any money. But I come from a family where when you decide that you can do something, you just have faith and you trust and doors open. And that's what happened to me for this movie.
Okay, so you had access to a chocolate shop, access to your sister's home, and you said, I'm going to figure out a script that works for both. And
yes.
And then obviously you made a Christmas movie because it's saleable.
Yes. And then also I wanted to have something that was simple that I could shoot in 7 days, because I knew with my credit cards that I could afford 7 days to pay people. If you have good credit, you can get 0% credit cards, as everyone knows. And, you know, if you have a year or two and you don't have to pay interest, it's a good way to get your movie started. So that's what worked for me.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about financing in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so tell everybody sort of your background. Like, do you have a film background? I mean, to take on a feature film, producer, director, writer, all this stuff, I mean, that's a pretty big challenge.
Well, I am an actor, and I worked as an actor for many years. And then I started doing short films, and I was also a writer. And one reason that I wanted to make this feature is because I want to elevate myself. I want to be in a position where people say, hey, I've seen footage of your features. Would you like to direct for me? Because I love directing as much as I love producing. I love putting things together, and I love organization. And that's also, I think, what's important when you have a short time to film. If you're super organized, things work out. Like, for example, I had everything for my craft services mailed by Amazon ahead of time to my sisters. I knew, like, I'm going to have dinner. I need these plates. I need these napkins. Like, I bought extra toilet paper, extra dish soap. It was organized this much. And then they also did the sets for me so that when I arrived, my sets were fully decorated. So that saved time.
Okay, that's kind of on what I would call sort of the line producing side. But what about on the artistic side, like the directing side? You had a vision. I mean, how long did it take you to write the script?
It took me about 4 months because I did get a lot of feedback. I know the importance of fresh eyes on a script. So I went to some mentors that were very well respected, and also my executive producer, who is Scott Kirkpatrick from Nicely. And he was really helpful in this part because he's overseen so many Christmas movies. And so we just went back and forth, and he said, no, change this in the script, move this around here. And that is one of my better qualities. I'm good at taking notes, and, you know, I can let go of things.
And collaborating and listening to people.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Good. Okay. Had you written a script before, or is this your first?
Shorts. I've done shorts.
Okay, so you hadn't written a feature before?
No.
All right, so this was a gigantic undertaking on your part. Now, as the director, you also, I mean, had you seen the location? I mean, you've seen your sister's house, obviously,
yes.
in the chocolate shop.
Yes.
So you had sort of a vision as to what this whole thing was going to look like and how it was going to unfold?
I did have a vision, but I will say when you just get to a set and you don't have a lot of time to really think about blocking, it's challenging. And that, for me, was the most challenging part of the process. It is kind of difficult when you know you're going to film, 13 or 14 pages in one day. You don't have so much time to really go through things more than once. And also the challenge with a lot of Christmas movies is there's a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of action. Mm-hmm. And that can get very static to look at. So when I was writing it, I did have that in mind. Even if I could do something as simple as having somebody wind a garland around a tree, at least that's some action.
Right. But I mean, dialogue scenes are generally easier to shoot than action scenes. But you're right; they can get monotonous. You got to be creative in how you tell the story. Now, you mentioned budget, if you don't mind me going there. So you're saying basically this was a no-budget film?
It was a no-budget film, and it's funny because. Budget, when you say budget, you get so many different opinions, but I got 2 different opinions. And one person said to me, if anybody asks you what your budget is, say it's the typical budget for a Christmas romance.
That's a good answer.
And I said, why should I say that? And they said, well, if you spend too little, people will think there's no way it could be good. And if you've spent too much, people will say you didn't do a very good job. You had all this money at your disposal. So that's interesting.
Okay, now I'm going to say, in my perspective, no film is no budget. All right. What you're saying is you had no cash budget, but a lot of people invested time, especially you. You probably put 2,000 or 3,000 hours into this film.
Yes. Between
producing, directing. And
yes.
Did you edit too?
No, I didn't edit.
All right, but writing. So you're in for maybe 3,000 hours. Just simple math. If your time is worth $100 an hour, this film is $300,000 already, the budget. but you know, it's not a cash budget. You didn't have to lay out the cash to pay yourself. But you did lay out cash, you said, you know, on your credit card to do things like craft. And what about, I mean, the actors are sitting here.
Yes,
what about
the actors were paid.
Okay.
And I say no budget because I didn't have money to do it. I just got money as it came along. I am a filmmaker that doesn't think all I can do is make films. I work. I have a lot of jobs. I have a writing retreat that I host. It's coming up in Greece, and I have another one that I do in Ontario and in Solvang, California. I cater, I bartend, I pet sit, I house sit, I walk dogs. So I make a living, and I was able to get the money as it came in to pay for the things that I needed. And that felt safe to me instead of going and saying, I'm going to have, you know, X amount of dollars to do this. It was easier for me to say, I don't have any money, because as it came in, then I had it, and I wasn't fearful that way, if that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, I've said very strongly on a lot of my podcasts, don't do a credit card film. I've said that in no uncertain terms. And the reason is because credit card money is super expensive generally, like you're saying, no fees, but there's going to be fees ultimately and interest. Generally, a lot of people put themselves into a lot of debt that is going to create a lot of financial strife in their lives. So hopefully you're responsible enough to have managed that from what you just told me.
I am.
Okay, good. But I'm going to suggest to a lot of filmmakers who are watching this, it's not a good idea to do credit card films. All right. I know you're dying to do your film and you really want to do it, but putting yourself into credit card debt, which can be 20, 25, 30% even in some places, causes a lot of stress and aggravation in your life going forward. So that's not a great idea. You survived it, you got through it, but it sounds to me like I said, you're responsible and you're doing other things to generate revenue.
Correct.
Now, in terms of selling the film, you know, I'm kind of jumping ahead before we get into the making of it, but you know, I saw the film. It's really nice. You did a great job.
Thank you.
And frankly, until this moment, I did not know it was a no budget film. It looks like a budget film. Now, you put your heart and soul into it, and a lot of other people did, and you accessed a lot of free things. So to me, there's a lot of value in that film. But do you have a distribution plan to get the money back yet?
Well, I've watched some of your YouTubes, as I've said before, and you don't have a deal until you have money on the bank. If there's money in your bank account, you have a deal. That's
correct.
What Jeff says.
That's correct.
So I do have a lot of different balls up in the air, as they say, and I can't really talk about it at the moment. So when I do have the money in the bank, I would love to come back and do another talk with you.
Well, I think we need to talk about how to get the money in the bank. That's the major talk, all right? Like when you say money in the bank, I say actually one step further. Somebody sent you the check or wired you the funds, and when the money clears, when the check clears or the funds clear, that's when you know the deal is a done deal. Anyways, I'm a little skeptical about all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's talk about the making of the movie, because that's the fun part. That's what most filmmakers want to hear about.
Right.
So if you don't mind, if you want to introduce your two lead actors.
Absolutely. I have Angela Cole, who is my leading lady, who plays Penny Candy.
Hello.
Angela's from Ohio and LA. She's bi-coastal. And I found her online and fell in love with her, and she was my first choice. And she's even nicer than she is talented. And so it was just such a joy to have her. And I love her so much that she is bringing her role of Penny Candy back in the sequel called Marry Me in Greece, which we are filming starting September 23rd on the island of Patmos in Greece.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me about that in a second. I want to know about that. Okay. And then you have another actor.
I do. I have Joel Berg, who is my leading man, and I found Joel online too. And as soon as I saw his audition, I was absolutely in love with him. And I just prayed that both actors would be available. And it's rare that you get your first choice in both. And I got my first choice in both. Joel was so wonderful to work with. I was freezing and always wanting to cut scenes. There's one scene that we did outside on a tractor where he stands up and has this great monologue. And I just said, it is so cold, let's cut it. And everybody rallied around him and said, you can't cut Joel's scene, don't cut it. You know, and the cold didn't bother him at all. And I'm glad we didn't cut it. And he's coming back in the sequel too. And these two will be married in Greece.
Oh, you gave away the plot point.
I did.
Okay, so thanks for coming on, Angela and Joel. Nice to meet you. And I watched the movie. You both did fantastic performances. I really enjoyed sort of the relationship and your character building and everything. So if you don't mind, Angela, can you tell everybody sort of what the movie is about, you know, and how your character plays into it?
Yeah, so basically it's about It's your typical Christmas, like Hallmark feel good movie about a family, two sisters and their dad that own a chocolate business. And Penny Candy is my character, and she is a very emotionally guarded and very strong-willed woman who she left kind of the family business to go pursue her career in event planning, and then she comes back because her sister Coco gives her a call and is like, "I entered you into the chocolate Christmas competition." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And she comes back home only to find out that Joel's character, Benji, comes in and says that they are behind on their rent. So he's going to be taking over their lease if they don't get X amount of dollars by a certain date. And then her and her sister kind of go through the whirlwind of trying to save their family's business. And she falls back in love with what the heart of Christmas is all about. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away just in case I might let it slip. Do we get married in Greece? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. You never know.
All right, Joel, do you want to add to that? So you're the evil guy who's actually a nice guy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of start off as the antagonist, but pretty quickly it becomes pretty apparent that he's kind of working for his father. He owes his father some money, and he's a bit in debt, and he's kind of come back to this town. His father's like a property developer, and he's kind of doing the grunt work that his father's kind of sent him to do, to kind of go collect these rents. And it comes pretty apparent that he's kind of falls in love with the town, the shop, the kind of Christmas vibe. This woman who's been like just like knocks him off his feet type thing. So he's got this like internal struggle going on. Yeah, and the rest just kind of unfolds naturally as he falls for it. So it's pretty. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Okay, let's go back to the director, Cathy. So now you said you shot this movie in 7 days.
We did.
7 days. Okay, so what was this? I can't remember. Is it a 90-minute movie or?
It's 83 minutes, including credits.
83. So it'd be like an 85 page script or something like that. So you're shooting pretty quickly.
Really quickly.
You're shooting, 15, 16 pages a day.
Yes.
That's tough to do that.
It was tough. What saved me was when I knew that this was going to be my schedule, I started interviewing DPs, and I would talk to them and they would say, "There's no way this is going to be able to come out good in this many days." And so I knew that I needed someone who had my belief, and I met him. I had posted something on Facebook. I was looking for a Christmas tree farm, and he said, "I happen to know one." And he was a DP, and we started to talk, and I told him my vision, and he said, "I've done that twice. Let's do it."
So that's a local guy in Pennsylvania.
He's in Ohio, actually.
Oh,
yes.
in Ohio.
And he's also an editor, so I knew I really lucked out, because on set I could be like, "Can we move on? Do we have enough coverage? Let's go." So that was such a gift.
Now, where in Pennsylvania did you shoot?
We shot in Pittsburgh, and then in Cranberry, and
Where's the actual shop, the chocolate shop?
The actual shop is in Carnegie, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh.
Is that like a small suburb outside?
Very tiny town near Pittsburgh.
Nice. Okay, so you're shooting at 16 pages a day. Angela, you're doing a lot of dialogue. I mean, that's a lot to learn and a lot to deliver. How were the shooting days for you?
Honestly, I've been on a lot of sets that do movies really, really quickly. And so I was already kind of used to the idea of shooting a movie that quick. What made it so easy and seamless, though, was honestly Cathy and her team and Josh, who is the DP. Like, they were just so calm, and like they bring such a calm presence to it, because as a lot of filmmakers will know, the second you start to get any kind of like panic or you start to get stressed, that's when things start to like hit the fan, where you're just like, okay, you get really chaotic, and then things become harder to do. But with Cathy just brought like such a calming, warm presence. She would just be like, if we even have ideas, we'd be able to come up to her and be like, "Hey, what if we did something like this? What if we maybe turn it this way?" Because as actors, it's really hard, because you never want to like overstep anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're feeling the character and you're feeling like how something may benefit the development of the character or whatnot, it's always a little battle to kind of want to say something or feel like you can't. But with Cathy, she's always been so open and is like, yeah. She's like, yeah, that would be a great idea. Instead of like, be like, no, we gotta go, we gotta run. Like, she's so calm and so kind and just made doing a movie in 7 days. I mean, I was so much at peace. Like, you're just at peace. Like, yes, it's tiring. And yes, like, you have to be on your game and know what's coming up next. And then like, if for instance, we're going from like one scene to one scene, you're going to be going from like a huge dialogue scene to like, okay, you gotta get dressed again, and you gotta get your hair and makeup in a different way, and then boom, you're back on it, and you're doing a chemistry scene with the lead guy actor, and you're like, okay, you have to make sure you're always on your game. And like Cathy was saying, like, organization is key, and her set was very organized, and she had everything ready to go. But my main thing for her is just, she was just so peaceful and so calm, and that is so rare when you're doing a movie in 7 days. It's so rare, and it was very nice, very refreshing.
I'm assuming both of you were on set all 7 days. Would that be a fair assumption that you were in?
Yeah, I think I was maybe a day less or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joel, did you feel the same way? Were like learning that amount of script, delivering all of the sort of the direction and were you at all
like
stressed?
100%. I think one of the things was, I was able to get the material pretty well in advance. So I had a lot of time with the script. But again, just to kind of mimic what Angela's saying, like, it felt like there was not a lot of pressure, even though like we knew we had to do so much in a day. Like, everyone knew what they were doing, like, very, very well. And it felt like a very well-oiled machine. Like, the DP, to have him as an editor, he knows what angles he needs to get. He knows what coverage he needs to get. And if he says he's got something, as long as the take was all right and Cathy liked it, then we know we can move on. And I think that was just to have the confidence that he knows all the footage he needs to get, how he's going to cut it already. Angela was knocking it out of the park. She has double the amount of dialogue as I have. And it was amazing, and to be able to kind of draw on this energy, and you're always just kind of ready to go. Okay, where's the next wardrobe? What's the next scene? But it worked, everything worked. It was very fast, but it still felt very calm, like a small little family. And I think kind of getting into this kind of groove, we were just knocking it out.
Mm-hmm. It feels, Cathy, like you are a very calm, collaborative, director, and you keep your cool. Now, how much coverage were you getting? Like in dialogue scenes, the basic coverage is, say, a 2-shot and then singles. Were you getting close-ups? I mean, how?
Not so many. Close-ups on the important scenes, but really just the coverage and then a 2-shot.
So when you did you do a shot list?
I didn't, because there were only a few shots that I really wanted, and I talked to Josh ahead of time, and he said, we're going to go through the scenes, just tell me what you want, what you don't want as we're there, and if there's certain inserts that you want, we'll get those for sure, but otherwise, no.
Okay, now Joel mentioned that Josh is also the editor?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. I like when a cinematographer is an editor, because they know all the footage, they know the coverage, when they're shooting, they're thinking about what they're going to need to do the edit, to do the cuts, so they generally cover themselves. They give them. So was he suggesting shots to you that maybe he would need in the edit room?
Not really. No, we just followed the script. And, I will say the one thing that I didn't get enough of is exterior shots. And so now...
You mean like establishing shots?
Establishing, yes.
Right.
So now in my next film, that's something that I'm really paying a lot of attention to.
But why can't you go back and shoot establishing shots?
It was winter, and I'm finished, and I want to be done and move on to the next thing.
Right. There is this thing called AI now. Okay. So you didn't have a formal shot list per se, but you knew what scenes you were doing. Now, who did the production schedule? Like, did you actually?
I did the schedule.
So how did you know how to do that?
It's just common sense. If somebody's going to be in the same location, let's keep them there.
Did you do it on one of the scheduling programs, or?
No, I used PowerPoint.
You did a schedule on PowerPoint.
I just made a PowerPoint document, because I'm comfortable with PowerPoint. I didn't want to use Excel because I'm not great at it. I didn't want to use something in Final Draft because I don't even know if it is there. So I just made it on a PowerPoint.
Hold on, Final Draft. What did you write the script on?
On Final Draft.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, but I'm not familiar with all of the other...
Like Studio Binder or any of those programs.
I don't know how to use them, and I didn't want to take the time.
But Excel, I teach on Excel. I teach how to do budgets and shooting schedules and shot lists and everything.
That could be good for me. I'll have to find out when and where.
Excel is how to, that's how it's all organized. But wow, PowerPoint. I use PowerPoint, but I would never consider using it for a shooting schedule.
It was easy.
Okay, I guess so. I guess well, first of all, you have two main locations, right? You've got a house and a chocolate shop, and then some exterior stuff.
2 houses, a chocolate shop, a Christmas tree farm, and then some outdoor areas to shoot.
Okay. Now tell me, how big was the crew?
We had one sound who was amazing. We had a boom. We had
wait, the sound guy was the boom, or you had 2?
No, we had 2.
Okay, so you had a boom and a sound recordist. Yeah.
And I got the best sound that I could get.
Okay.
I went for the top of the line.
It sounded good. I think you did a good job.
I know sounds really
so important.
Yes. We had a grip. We had a gaffer. We had a couple of PAs.
What'd you do for like catering and all that kind of stuff?
My sisters picked catering up, or my aunts picked it up. Once we had a Polish night with homemade pierogies. So it was kind of very, homey.
Now,
incredible.
Joel and Angela you're both from LA, I assume, as are you, Cathy.
I'm from Pennsylvania originally.
Okay, but you live here in LA
yes.
now. So where did everybody stay? Did they stay at your sister's house?
Hotels. We did have a hotel. I wanted people to be comfortable. We had a hotel right by my sister's.
Okay.
Charged it.
All right, let's. Okay.
Angela did her own makeup.
I was just going to get to that. I was just going to say wardrobe and makeup. Yes. So Angela, you did all that yourself. What about wardrobe?
Well, I made my sister do wardrobe the last minute, which was crazy because wardrobe's hard. When Angela changes clothes, I think 32 times. I want to say 32 different outfits.
She looked great. I mean, she looked so cute in most of the scenes, and you know exactly
that part was challenging. We really did need a professional costume person, but I didn't have the money.
Right.
And I didn't have the money for props.
But where'd you get all those outfits from?
Mostly my closet or my sister's closet.
Really?
Yeah, and some, from very affordable online businesses. So
Angela, you were okay doing your own makeup and hair and moving along like that?
I am. I think if I learned how to do it a long time ago for auditions or for any like performances and stuff. And I talked to Cathy and I said, if you're okay with it, I'll go ahead and do my own hair and makeup, because then I can come either ready or I can do it whenever. But I think the challenge of that is only when you're like switching scenes really quick, and then you have to like just making sure continuity wise, I think was the hardest thing. But that's why we leave the hair down for the most part, or we make sure that everything matches each scene when you're doing it.
Well, continuity is important. So you didn't have a script supervisor.
Well, kind of. We had a wonderful producer who said, in exchange for producing, I'll do continuity. And I said, that's lovely. So it was a trade.
Hold on, wait a second.
For a producer credit, she'd like to work on the film and do continuity.
Oh, you found like the miracle dream crew here.
Because I have such nice people that I'm surrounded with.
In exchange for a producer's credit, she's willing to do continuity.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Can you send
some of these people my way?
And Angela just said, if it's okay with you, I'll do my own hair and makeup. I mean, if an actress said that to me on one of my shoots, I would faint. I would say, well, hold on, did you just say that? Like, I don't have to hire a makeup person?
And her hair and makeup looks so much
she
better
looked great.
than any other of her movies that I've seen other people do your hair and makeup. It's honestly the best because she's so good at it.
Thank you.
I lucked out. And a lot of her clothes were hers too. A lot of the wardrobe was hers. You should have seen the giant stack of wardrobe that she brought.
That's fantastic. No, I mean, that's a real collaboration.
I did my own hair as well.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't ask you about that, Joel, because
I offered.
Okay, so that's good. So you're shooting with a crew of like what, 8 people?
Back to our continuity, she had to go to the hospital the second day, so we lost her.
So what'd you do for continuity? You just paid attention to it?
Tried to.
That's tough. That is tough to do when you're juggling all those roles. Wow. This is true, what I'm going to call true guerrilla indie filmmaking. You are juggling a lot of stuff and you're keeping calm. And the actors who would know are saying you're a pleasure to work with and, very calm on set, even though I know as a producer director how much is coming at you from every direction, even on a simple film. I mean, you've got to get the coverage. You've got to get, how long were your shooting days?
12 hours.
So we're shooting for 12 hours, or your days were 12? Like you would come, set up, and like...
It was 12 hours the cast and crew were on set.
Right. So those aren't ridiculously long days.
No.
I mean, they're not like 14, 15-hour days.
No.
So, yeah, you're really moving. Now, are you the type, I assume you are the type of producer/director who wears a watch, keeps track of the time, and is very cognizant, like you feel like a very organized person who says, I need to accomplish this today because there's not going to be time tomorrow.
Yes.
That takes a lot of discipline.
Well, what was challenging is everyone said my script should be about 92 pages, and this is something I don't understand, so maybe you can help me with this. If my movie is going to end up being 83 pages with credits, doesn't that mean it should be an 80-page script approximately?
No, you mean 83 minutes with credits.
Sorry, 83 minutes with credits. Shouldn't it be 80 pages?
So the general rule of thumb is that 1 page of script equates to 1 minute in a movie. That's the general rule of thumb, especially in a dialogue-driven film.
Right.
All right? But the answer is depending on how you shoot, what coverage, how many establishing shots you have, how long you let looks go and all this kind of stuff. So that's just the general rule of thumb. Okay, but here's the good news. All right. It doesn't matter anymore how long your film is because generally on streaming, we're not going into a 2-hour time slot on television. All right. Nobody cares what the running time is. They care how entertaining the film is. Now, if you're going to bill it as a feature, they still want it to be somewhere between, more than 60 or 70 minutes. All right. But once you cross 70 minutes, you're a feature film and nobody really cares because remember, on a streaming service, like you're watching it, it ends. It's not like it's linear programming that they have to fit into these half-hour time slots. So you're fine. The running time is fine. Don't worry about that.
Well, we shot so much that we didn't even use. I mean, we got rid of so much because we shot a full 92 pages. And I will say, if you ever write 5-page scenes, don't do it again. There were just times on set, and I would say, "Who would write this scene? It's 5-page long. Cut."
Okay, now if I had Martin Scorsese sitting here, he would say, that those are great scenes, or
maybe if you have time.
Who's the guy who writes the anyways, so they're in a lot of the Hollywood movies, these scenes run for 10 minutes.
When you're trying to get a day like that shot, I just kept putting those scenes in the back. I kept changing the schedule. I'd say, I don't want to do this 5-page scene. I can't. Let me just get the short ones and put it back, and sometimes just cut it.
Really? It's interesting because I look at those differently. I say those are times when characters can really develop their character, get into like sort of the relationship stuff, and you don't have to relight or anything. You just have to take different coverage.
That probably means that those scenes weren't, could have been written better. If I'm willing to cut that much out, there probably means there's room for improvement in the writing.
Perhaps.
So.
But that's an artistic judgment. So everybody's obviously maxing out because you're moving at lightning speed with a very small crew.
Right.
So I'm going to readily admit to the audience here, like I've always said in most of my podcasts and everything, like all the movies that I shoot are budgets of more than 500,000, like I mean, that would be a very low, look, hold on. In Hollywood standards, that's like micro budget.
It's still so much
money.
No,
I know, but like I say, like if you don't have $700,000 to shoot a movie, how are you going to shoot it properly? In my crews, I have 25 to 30 people on the crew and all the positions and lots of locations and 2 cameras. And maybe I'm overkill because I'm listening to you. Your movie looks good. Look, at the end of the day, here's what matters. It matters that the movie looks good. It matters that people are entertained by the movie.
Right.
Now, your actors did a great job. You clearly did a good job in capturing all the footage. Your editor did a good job. I mean, it looks good. So maybe I need to learn something. Maybe micro-budget filmmaking is the way to go. Now, having said that, I've used up all my favors and I can't ask people to work for free anymore, nor would I. All right. That's just who I am. Like, I'm not asking any crew to work for free. And I mean, obviously you paid your actors, but I'm not getting locations for free. And I mean, the odd time if I shoot at a friend's house or something, even then I would pay them.
Sure.
Like I did actually do that. I shot at friends' houses and I paid them because it's, I guess, at a different level. There were PAs and people, lots of stuff doing all kinds of stuff. Like I would never not have a script supervisor. I wouldn't even shoot a movie if I couldn't have a script supervisor. I'd be too worried about continuity. But you did it. You did. And this is why I like to have people like you on the show to talk about doing exactly that, because this is probably the new reality. This is what it takes to be successful, to be able to really bring a film in at a low budget so that you can recoup your costs and hopefully make a profit. Now, did you use any, I'm assuming you had no VFX, or did you use any AI or any of the new filmmaking techniques?
No. Okay,
so this is just standard coverage. So you weren't using virtual backgrounds or
we used a green screen once.
Did they have one somewhere?
My DP.
And he had his own studio or something?
And he just has equipment.
But he set up a green screen somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Or he just put up a green screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so, and your DP, do you mind me asking, did he get paid?
Yes.
Oh, so wait, so you paid people. It felt like you didn't pay anybody.
Well, I mean, I'm calling it no budget because I didn't, it's not like I started out with this big amount of money. I knew that I had to get money. So as it came in, I was able to pay people.
Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, and again, if you're not comfortable with the answers, just say, you can put that aside.
Sure.
Because filmmakers are going to want to know this, right? Ultimately, how much, if you did have a budget, and after the fact, now that you've spent what you did and you knew who you paid and you're organized so you would know the answer,
right?
How much did you spend in cash?
I don't want to say at this point, just because I have some, as I'm saying, some balls up in the air. And I don't want anyone to think one way or another of my movie based on budget.
Okay, nobody should think of your movie based on budget. They should think of your movie based on entertainment value.
They should, but that's not what I'm hearing.
Okay, but I'm telling you that you put in 3,000 hours and you're $300,000 worth of labor just yourself. So the value of your movie, I'm going to say, is probably $500,000 if somebody else were to shoot it and pay for all the things that you didn't pay for. I mean, that's the value of the movie. All right. So like, that's why I say there aren't anything called no budget films, because somebody had to make the film, which means their time was involved, and people's time is worth money.
Correct.
All right. So do you feel that filmmakers who are watching this, would it be comfortable to say to them that they could shoot a movie like yours for less than $100,000?
Yes, it would be very fair to say that.
Do you think it would be fair to say less than 50,000? Or is it 50 to 100? People just want to get a point of reference.
You can definitely film between 50 for 100. Absolutely.
50 to 100. Okay.
Yes. And I think you could even do 30.
So less than 50.
Yes, you could do 30.
With paying people who
with
like
paying
actors
your crew and your actors, yes.
Wow. Okay, but then you'll have to pull in. Did your DP, I'm assuming, had his own camera?
Yes.
Did you shoot 4K or what?
Yes, Sony.
And then what about the editing? Did he?
He edited as well.
I know, but did he charge for editing? Or?
Yes, I got a package rate.
Wow.
And I have my movie in 5.1.
5.1.
And I have all of my stems.
Okay, so let's just switch gears and talk about music.
Yes.
Tell us about music. What did you do on the music side?
I had a very challenging time finding a composer.
Okay, I'm smiling because I wouldn't even think you would look for a composer without any money. I would say you would just go to some stock music sites and pick out some stock stock music clips that you can get royalty free, that you pay a couple $100s for, and that's what you'd use in your movie. Do you actually wanted to hire a composer?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so I guess because I've never done it before, I could have been better at communicating. So what I said to a lot of people I was interviewing is, where do you think music would come in and what would it sound like? And so that's how I was talking to composers. And a lot of composers either loved that approach or really didn't like it. And the ones who loved it turned out to be very challenging to work with.
Where did you find these composers? Locally here in LA?
Friends of friends.
Can you just elaborate a little bit on what is challenging to work with?
Yes, somebody that would call me at like 2:00 in the morning and say, this is exactly what I should be doing, and I'm going to bleed for you because this is going to be so hard to do with the small amount of pittance of money that you're giving me, but I'm going to be able to do it because this is my heart and my life. But however, can you give me money on the back end?
Mm-hmm.
And then would call the next day at 6:00 in the morning. Here's what I thought of for this. Mm-hmm. And so that is not the way I work.
Yeah, I hear you. Do you know what spotting is when you spot a movie for music? Okay, so basically the way I do it is that when the picture is locked, then I will, or even beforehand, when I have more or less a pretty solid first cut. And when I hire a composer, then I will give them notes and I'll say, here's where I hear the music. I think in this scene, it should be melancholy. In this scene, the hardest thing I have is using the right adjectives to talk to a musician who talks a different language, right? Different adjectives. So I usually talk in terms of either feelings or food. Like this should be, a little spicy here, or a little salty here, or a little sweet here, or that type of thing, because those adjectives a composer can actually relate with. And most of this stuff is obvious, right? A movie, you can look at a scene with the two actors and say, oh, there should be some sweet music here. Their eyes are meeting, there's love. But sometimes as a director, you want to change the tone a bit. So you got to give direction on to where you want the music in and what kind of music you want. And, to me, music is so important, almost more important than dialogue. Because it really evokes the emotion of the viewer. It changes the way a person watches a scene. So I'm so particular about music. All right. And then if I don't get the right feel, then it has to be changed. We have to try it again, that type of thing. But I'm paying a lot for my music.
Okay.
So I'm getting the attention of the musicians and the composers. They're spending the time because they're getting paid to spend the time. How do you navigate that when somebody's kind of giving you a hard time, you're not paying me enough?
I found a composer that I really wanted to work with, and I won't say his name, but he had a really good, hot movie out. And I reached out to him, and he offered to do my movie for a very, very, very small amount of money. But then his agent got involved and did the price times like 20.
Yeah.
So that was gone. So I found a musician named Corey Lee Barker, who's from Nashville, who calls himself Christmas Corey, and he's awesome. And I said, listen, here's what my movie looks like. I'd love to use some of your songs. And he said, well, maybe you don't really need a composer then, because you can use parts of my songs to fill in places. And he has so much music. So that's who I ended up going with. And I'm so happy. I can't wait for people to hear the music. It's really, really fantastic. And his music is in movies on Hallmark, Up TVs.
Yeah,
that's everywhere.
That's the way to go.
And it's fantastic. And like you said, it just changes the whole movie.
It does.
Like watching without music, it's like a play. And then when you put the music, and now I want to have scenes that don't have any words. I want so many scenes with no words just to have music.
Yeah, it's not even a play, because even in plays they have music.
That's true. Yes.
Even like in dramas they have music in the background, like recorded music.
Yes.
Okay, Angela. So you feel good about the movie? You feel good about your performance?
She hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
It's only you. We're doing a screening, and they're going to see it on the big screen.
You guys haven't seen the movie?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my. I think you're going to be very pleased. Okay, so because I was going to say to you, Angela, I'm sure that you have seen lots of movies. You've seen lots of Hallmark Christmas movies, right? The way you played it is exactly like this to me is, if Hallmark's watching, they need to see this movie. They need to buy it right away. Like that is the target. That's the customer base for sure. Yes. Okay. Or Netflix Christmas movies or something. This is right. It hits the core exactly. You did a great job. All of you did a great job of delivering to that audience. But you haven't seen the movie finished, but you know your performance, you know sort of the character, you know the relationship and everything like that. Do you feel that it addresses that Hallmark audience, or who do you feel that this movie really is for?
I definitely think it is a Hallmark. It's that feel-good family, Hallmarky kind of feel. I've worked with Hallmark before, and it's the same exact kind of vibe. You've got the feel-good Christmas. You've got the small town girl goes to the big city, comes back, and needs to work with her family to save her family's business.
Yeah. I'm going to pay you a huge compliment here, okay? When I watched the movie, I felt like I was watching Sweet Home Alabama with Reese Witherspoon, and you were like delivering that role. It felt exactly like that. I'm sure you were trying to achieve something like that.
Yes. Well, I just fell in love with her. She's incredibly talented.
But just the dynamic, the character roles and everything like that, it worked.
It does.
So I always say to, filmmakers, know who you're shooting the movie for, know your audience beforehand, and then cast around it, write around it, shoot around it, like make everything work for that audience. Now, were you thinking that?
Yes, 1,000%. It had to be Hallmark. There's no alcohol in it. There's not even a glass of wine. They do have that in some of their movies, but I wanted to be sure. And there's the language is very spot on, the way that it should be. Everything's sweet. You can't have too much of a conflict.
Yeah.
But it had good guidance.
Right.
So that was helpful.
So Joel, had you seen Hallmark movies also? Were you thinking that when you were playing your character that way?
Yeah, 100%. I've done a few Hallmark things, and from like the set deck and just the Christmas vibes and just like the relationship, it felt very light and festive, 100%. And just like the color, the candy shop, just like popping colors here and there. And then it started to snow in some scenes, like perfect, like, I don't know if it's in the movie, but it like, after the speech, like monster snowflakes coming down. I'm like, come on, this is like
great production value.
Yes.
Yeah, it felt so Hallmark because of that, and like shooting in the snow and stuff like that, and actually like freezing, but it's supposed to be cold. You're in like Pennsylvania or Ohio.
Method acting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to put you both on the spot, and I'm going to ask something that maybe Cathy probably has not even spoken to you about, but super important. All right. When these kind of movies get distributed, it's really important that the lead actors help promote them. So where's your sort of head on that, Angela? Like, are you onto social media? Do you do stuff like that? And what do you think you can do to help sort of create awareness for the movie?
Yeah, absolutely. As an actress with any of my films, I try as much as I can to promote them through Instagram, you put on Facebook. There's sharing the trailers as it leads up to the premieres and everything. I think it's very important. Or you could share BTS of something. I've done that a lot of times where I share all the fun of like making the film too, because then that attracts, I think, a different audience as well, of like people who are really interested in filmmaking, and they're like, oh wow, like this is how they made this film. This is cool. Let me go see this film. I want to see how did it come about? How did this BTS of making like the fun like chocolate scenes and when we're having a chocolate fight. Oh, that's really fun. Let's see how it actually looks like now on screen. I think it's important.
Mm-hmm. So BTS, for the viewers who don't know, is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So were you shooting your own BTS? Because you didn't have like a unit publicity person on, obviously.
Yes. So I did as much as I can every time I'm
Just
on a
selfies?
set. I do it really for me because I like to remember every set that I've ever been on. I like to remember like the real good parts of it and see it. And there's stuff that you forget about because when you're as an actor or as anyone really in the entertainment industry, you have information coming in your head and leaving every single day. Like so much more information than I think an average person probably, because you're always looking at different scripts or you're running lines or you have to do the continuity stuff, like anything, you name it. And then being able to look back and see like how everything was done and see your favorite moments where you're laughing and whatnot. I just love having that.
Joel, let me ask you a different question. So it seems like this was kind of one nice big happy family, which is almost like it almost is a Hallmark film making this film. Were there moments though, Joel, like be honest, where you thought, what am I doing here? Like this is too low budget. This is not going to happen. Makes no sense. Did you ever have those thoughts at all?
Not really. Like I was so up for like being a part of a project. For me, it's not really about money. It's just about, I love the feeling of getting in the trenches. And that's why I love film specifically. Like I love being on set and doing long days of like lack of sleep, because the harder it is, just the reward feels so great. And then you have a product that's going to, touch people and it's going to be there forever. So I'm kind of always up for that, and obviously do the best job I can. But, I was really ready to sink into something like after the year that I had. And I was really, just looking forward to getting into it, sink into the material and stuff and work and create a film. So, in the beginning, I had maybe a little bit of a reluctance, like, okay, like how's it going to turn out? I've been on a film before that eventually they ran out of money. Actually, this was years ago in England, and they ran out of money and I was the lead. And eventually the whole thing just fell apart and I didn't even get to finish the film. They eventually got more money after. The guy became a total douche, and he didn't even give me the film at all once it was completed. Never contacted me again, didn't even pay me. And, I released in cinema. And, my part was just eventually cut into half. And anyway, so that was like a bad experience. A little bit of that kind of came in, but because I know Hallmark things and stuff, I felt like everything was there to be completed. And so if you were to jump on board, it's not going to turn out like the other one. Everything will come together.
But you didn't know Cathy at all. You guys met online. I mean, you had to trust her implicitly, obviously.
Yeah, we had the same manager, and my manager told me about Cathy, and she's a good friend. So I kind of took her, had trust in my manager to put that connection together.
Right.
So,
right. Are you SAG?
I'm eligible at the moment. I'm not.
Angela, are you?
I am SAG.
So was this a Fight Corps shoot? So this is what we call Fight Corps, which is sort of you being a SAG actor and working outside of SAG. You're allowed to do that. It's called the Fight Corps status. So
yes.
Yeah. So don't worry. Nobody's getting in trouble. It's fine. Yeah. So Angela, what's going on in the industry now for SAG actors? Are you finding lots of work? Is it a struggle? What's the status?
I'm new to SAG. I tried to not join SAG, honestly, for like the longest time. For years, I was like, I don't really want to join SAG just because there was just so much non-union work that I wanted to pursue. To me, I like doing projects, any kind of project that makes me feel good. Like when I'm reading it, if it's something that I want to do, I want to do it. I don't really want to have to say no to something, especially if it's a higher paying job. Like a lot of non-union jobs are high paying, especially commercials as well. So it's like a difficult thing to have to like navigate through. Once you join SAG, you're non-union, you can go up to like you become at a level, and then once you join SAG, now you're at the bottom of a totem pole with a lot of A-list actors. And it's hard because a lot of the bigger movies, they're going to go for those A-list actors first because they want to sell their movie,
Correct.
Which absolutely understandable. But it makes it a lot more difficult for actors who are up and coming and trying to get to that point to be able to get there. So it's kind of like a catch-22. Like SAG they have benefits to being a part of SAG. But I do find it makes it a little bit more difficult for up and coming actors.
All right, Cathy, back to you. What would you say is the most did you get aggravated at all? Did you get frustrated where you said, what did I get myself into? Was there ever moments like that for you?
I was tired, but I wasn't frustrated. I grew up with a mom who was incredibly resourceful. And she is highlighted in this movie. It's a legacy movie in parts. And with my mom, it was always like, we'll find a way, we'll make this happen, everything's going to work out. So that's just how I grew up looking at things. If something doesn't work out, something better is going to come out of it. And it did for our movie. I mean, just one example is the one character was going to be a florist, and she dropped out of the movie. So once she dropped out, I said, let's find a Christmas tree farm instead. And she was going to be in the movie because she owns a florist shop. So I kind of think when things don't work out right, something better is coming. And when you have that attitude, it really does make a difference.
That's remarkable. I love that. But I know what it's like to be on a film set. I mean, the clock is ticking, something happens, sometimes equipment goes down or it starts snowing or something that you didn't count on, and you just have to solve a problem quickly.
Well, I think because also I wasn't using anyone else's money, I didn't have a lot of stress. I did have investors who wanted to give me money, and I didn't take it because I didn't know how this would end up. And, I've heard so many distributors say your movie is not worth what you think it's worth. And I don't know if that's true or if that's what they say to make you think you shouldn't get the money that you want to get for it. But I didn't want to go into a project that had a lot of money and then having to end up owing someone money. So I think that's part of why it wasn't so stressful for me, because I didn't have anyone looking over my shoulder saying, are you going to pay me back that money? You borrowed $50,000 from me. Mm-hmm. I just thought, I have this amount of days. I'm going to do the best I can and hope that it turns out as good as I hope it does.
But when you say this amount of days, you set that. I mean, that was a choice you made.
Yes.
It's not like somebody said to you, I'm going to give you 7 days.
Right.
You said, I want to shoot in 7 days.
If it didn't turn out as I wanted to, I thought at least I could give myself a crash course in filmmaking, and I would come away with some clips.
Well, worst comes to worst, maybe you'd add another day. Like, there's no rules. Maybe you say, I got to shoot another day. It didn't work out that way. Okay, now here's what I'm most intrigued about. You just finished making this film.
Yes.
It looks good. I'll give you that. Okay.
Thank you.
But you don't have distribution yet, but you also don't have the pressure of paying back investors or anything like that.
Right.
So you're in a very good, comfortable place.
Right.
But you would like to see it distributed. You'd like to see it hopefully on Hallmark.
Yes.
You'd probably like to get paid for it.
Yes.
Make a few dollars, maybe fund your next film.
Right.
But yet you don't have that, and you're already talking about making a sequel.
I'm not talking about it, I'm making it.
Okay.
Woo!
Like this
Yes.
to me, I love this, first of all. I think it's a little crazy, to be honest with you, because like most people would say, let me make back my money first and then go and do.
I thought of that, but I don't want to lose my cast. You never know where somebody is this time next year.
Fair enough.
Angela could be pregnant. She could be married. Joel could be in a different country.
Unlikely.
But, you just don't know. And,
You don't know.
Right now, I'm healthy. My family's healthy. My cast is healthy. So while I have the time, why not make the sequel?
Okay, did you write the sequel?
I did.
When did you write it? Recently?
I wrote it starting in March.
And when did you want to film it?
I am filming it beginning September 22nd. Did you get to read it yet, Angela?
I did read it.
Okay. Do you like your part?
I did read it today. I just read it today, right before this interview.
I just sent
Just
it.
in case you were going to ask her that.
I just sent it to them.
Okay, but you said you're shooting it in Greece.
Yes.
So you think you're going to be shoot for no money in Greece?
Okay, so I host a writer's retreat in Patmos, Greece, and I'm already going to be there. So I'm just going to shoot it after.
Tell us about this writer's retreat. What's this all
I
about?
host-
This is the time to pitch your writer's
Okay,
retreat.
perfect. I have a retreat called the Good Word Writers Retreat, and it was started to
Good
put,
word?
Yes, Good Word.
Okay.
It was started to put uplifting content out for people to watch. And I picked the location of Patmos because that's where St. John wrote the book of Revelation. It's a very spiritual island. When you go there, it's a little bite size of heaven. Everybody's so friendly. The town is so small. It's really like a Greek movie. Everybody knows everybody. When you're there for like a day, you'll know everybody in the entire town. And so I fell in love with the island and I host a retreat there. I bring mentors in, either directors, executives, writers, and then I bring new writers in. And during the course of the week, you work with your mentor on perfecting your script. I wanted it to be that the work was so intense during the week that when you leave, your script is ready to go hand out to somebody out the door. And then we do table reads, we do pitches to producers, we have a film fest at night. I rent a private sailboat and we go sailing. We take a tour of the...
How many writers do you get to this thing?
Last year I had a group of 25 going.
25?
Yes, I had 15 writers and then I had plus ones and mentors. And
now, if you don't mind me asking, yes. I'm assuming they pay for this.
They pay, yes.
Okay, what's the fee if I wanted to go on it?
I have early pricing every year.
Okay.
So my early pricing starts at about $4,500.
And that's for the week?
That's for
including
the week.
Accommodations and all this kind of stuff?
Yes, that's your hotel, all of your food, your happy hours with the wine, your tours.
And if I'm late, it goes up to 5,000 or something like that?
Yes, if you're late, it goes up.
And when was the registration for it?
Registration is still going on right now. And if you mention Jeff, you will get a discount.
Okay, go ahead and plug it. What's your website?
It's called the Good Word Writers Retreat.
I know,
goodwordwritersretreat.com is my website.
Oh, goodwordwritersretreat.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And
okay.
It will be in Greece.
So that is ambitious also. Now, let me get this. You're going to do a retreat for a week that you have to organize and do all the logistics for and everything like that.
Yes.
And then right afterwards, you're going to shoot the movie?
Yes.
Like at that location?
Yes.
You're going to be busy.
I actually feel like I'm going to rest. I work so much that by the time I get there, I'm going to be rested.
Oh, okay.
I feel like, and it's been so much work on the script. I've used really great mentors, and it's been a lot of back and forth. It's been hundreds of hours on the script.
How many days are you going to shoot this one in?
8 days.
8 days.
Yes.
And same crew too?
My DP is coming, who will be my editor. And then I did find sound guys from Athens. So I have my sound, and there will not be any continuity. There will not be any first AD. I have a mentor who wants to stay to work as a producer, and she said she'll help me with boots on the ground, with food or what have you.
Right.
And we're getting a lighting package so she can hold up the light boards for me.
Wow.
And my set piece is a Greek villa. So I rented a Greek villa that's absolutely beautiful right on the Aegean Sea. And so that's where most of the scenes will take place.
And this is a Hallmark style movie too?
It is. It's the sequel to this movie. You wouldn't have to see Chocolate for Christmas, but it's the same cast. So these same cast now are going to Greece for a wedding. Well, Penny is going to Greece to help with her sister's wedding.
Oh.
But she encounters a surprise proposal of her own from her love. And then there is an impromptu adoption that happens. And she falls in love with a child and wants to adopt him.
Wow.
So all this is going on while she's getting married.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Does she get married?
Exactly.
Who knows?
And
Keep
what's
watching
so great
to find
is,
out.
Exactly. Our other lead actress lives in Patmos. So I already have someone there helping so much. Like just today, I said, can you go and look in a secondhand shop or something to find me a printer? Because more than anything that I'm concerned with for this movie is having my sides. Because like on an island that small, they don't have shops.
Yeah.
So she found a printer.
Wow.
So she bought the printer today. So I feel like everything from now on is easy breezy.
I'm feeling some tinges of like Mamma Mia.
Yes, absolutely, 1,000%.
Really?
Yes.
I'm ready.
So
Yep.
you're going to need...
We have long lost relatives that show up.
Okay. I mean...
Mamma Mia.
I mean, you saw it like on the Greek island.
I have seen it. I love it. It's a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you can get a soundtrack like that, wow.
I'm going to use the same
ballpark.
songwriter, same composer.
Right.
Is going to do this music.
Right. I mean, this is super ambitious. Like, I'm really impressed with, first of all, your attitude and your sort of level of, how calm you are about all this kind of stuff. Because most people like panic, and taking on the speed at which you're shooting and the amount of jobs that you actually do on your productions is tremendous. And you just keep it all together and stay nice and calm. And your actors obviously are, comfortable with all of that.
They're amazing.
Because, a lot of actors get on and say, this was a nightmare. They shot too quickly. We couldn't learn our lines. It was just not fun to be there. But that's not what I'm hearing here. And probably your crew would say the same thing.
Well, I do my best. I have a lot to learn, and I want to keep getting better, and I want to get financing so I can make the movies easier. But I want to just keep telling good stories, and I want to keep attracting actors like I have now.
Okay, well, let's say you're doing that, right? But then you just said, I want to get financing. But 2 minutes or 5 minutes ago, you said, I had some people who wanted to finance my movie, but you didn't want to take their money.
I will know more then. When I know more and I know what my return can be, I'll feel comfortable. But I don't want to take someone's money and not know if they're going to get it back. Every time you look at an investment contract, it says this is risky. You may not get your investment back.
That's correct.
And as a first-time filmmaker, it's even more risky because no one knows me.
That's correct.
So once I've established myself and I know how distribution works, I'll know. So I'm going to Cannes this year to MIPCOM. It is in October so that I can meet distributors because that's what everyone has been telling me to do. And so I'm going to go straight from shooting to meet the distributors myself because I feel like there's still a big cloud over distribution. I'm talking to distributors who will say to me, I've been doing this for 40 years, but I can't tell you what you're going to make. You could make 5,000 or you could make 100,000 or you could make 500,000. Sign here. And that it shouldn't be like that. And so I'm really working to do all this research because I'm not gonna live that way. I'm certainly not going to give my project to someone who talks to me that way.
I know a thing or two about distribution.
I do, and that's why I'm so happy we met.
Well, we're going to be talking about this.
Okay.
You know how you kind of traded off, or what was the line? I'll give you a producer's credit for continuity.
Yes.
You teach me how to micro budget shoot the way you're doing, or maybe just do it for me, and I'll take care of the distribution.
You got a deal.
I mean, what you are
and a cast.
Yeah, well, what you're accomplishing is phenomenal, and I really pleased to hear that it can be done, and that people are enjoying it, and more importantly, that the product looks good. So I stand corrected in a lot of the stuff maybe that I've said. Like, often I say, maybe you can shoot at that level. I haven't experienced that yet. Maybe I got to learn something, or maybe, it's too late for me. But, once you start to raise financing, then you'll start to pay for things more, and you'll feel comfortable paying for things more as soon as you feel like there's going to be a return.
Sure.
But you are right about the distribution side. It is the Wild West. Somebody will say, well, I can't guarantee that you're going to get more than 5,000, and it could be $500,000, and like, how do you live with that? Very, very frustrating for producers to have to deal with that, even though that is the landscape. I mean, that is the truth. But you are making very niche product that has a very identifiable audience, and you have a very good shot at getting this out there properly. So I'm going to help you with that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any last words that you want to, pitch the movie, pitch yourself, pitch your actors, pitch anything?
I think you've done an amazing job at it, and they have too. I'm just grateful for them, and I'm thankful that I met you, and let's just keep making good movies.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Well, thank you very much. So it's Cathy Yonek, Chocolate for Christmas. I don't know when it'll be released because I'm going to help her release it. And thank you very much for coming on, everybody. And, it's been inspirational. I hope all you filmmakers out there really pay attention and you become the kind of filmmaker that Cathy is. Keep your cool, be very organized, and just put your heart and soul into it. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. As always, send in your questions and ask me whatever you want, and we'd love to address it for you. See you next time.